evaluate to see what are some things that we may need to do differently, what are some things that we may need to keep the same for the next school year.
We wanted to make sure that our parents are equipped to assist their children without knowing the content.
Thank you for allowing us to help the students. We're all parents. So we want to make sure that our students get the opportunity to excel.
We've partnered with the Career Development Center with Jackson Public Schools to bring in the Ford ACE program, which is Automotive Career Exploration, enabling 10th grade students that have aspirations of getting into the mechanics field, gives them full access to the Ford curriculum to help start getting them trained as early as 10th grade.
We come to support the prep rally for Jackson Public Schools on behalf of Tougaloo College. I am part of the Educational Talent Search Program, and our program services Northwest Middle School, Blackburn Middle School.
The whole goal is to prepare parents, to prepare their scholars to excel on the MAPE assessment. So we're delighted for the day. Our parents are having the opportunity to understand the resources that are available to them, and we know that the day will just multiply 10 times over.
Touch a truck. Touch a truck. Touch a truck. I'm a ride a truck.
We are here today at the annual Touch a Truck sponsored by Junior League of Jackson at Trustmark Park in Pearl. We are so grateful to those ladies who provide this awesome experience to our second graders each year. They come out and their children, they run, they fun, they explore, they have amazing sensory opportunities. They get to meet heavy equipment operators. They get to see the vehicles used in the military with community helpers, fire trucks, ambulances, truck drivers, SWAT team, just a number of experiences for them to understand what comes together to make our community what it is.
We are coming out here to experiment, to touch, to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, to expose them to different things that they don't see on a regular basis.
Learning outside of the classroom is so important. Our mission with Touch Truck Jackson really is to inspire our next generation of learners to dream their biggest dreams.
They haven't seen a lot of these trucks, so they're very interested in seeing what they can do and just to learn about all the trucks.
What it means for us is to get the kids exposed to all the different vehicles that they see every day, but they might not know what they do.
So I think that this was a good idea to give them exposure and let them know that there are different avenues that you can take. You can do trucks, you can do the ambulance, you can do the AMR.
We are super excited to partner with Jackson Public Schools to host Field Trip Friday. We're expecting over 900 students today, and the Junior League's mission really is to serve our community, promote women's leadership and volunteerism, and we're just truly blessed to be able to be here today.
We're grateful to Junior League of Jackson for providing this amazing experience. Our children are just having a ball.
Enroll now for the JPS 2024-25 school year. Early registration supports smooth school operations and ensures ample resources for JPS scholars. All students, new and returning, must enroll through the PowerSchool enrollment portal on the JPS website at jackson.k12.ms.us. The PowerSchool enrollment portal is accessible 24/7, allows parents to enroll multiple children, and offers language options. SNAP code required for returning students. Don't forget to upload or take required proof of residency to the school or to the Office of Enrollment Services. For more information, please call 601-960-8852.
I am glad that you are here. A lot of hard work has gone into this day. We want you to have fun. We want you to make new friends. We want you to play unified today, okay?
We're here today with Jackson Public Schools and Special Olympics Mississippi to launch our first Unified Fun Field Day with JPS students.
We are excited and pumped and ready to go.
I can't wait.
Last year, we began a collaborative effort to recruit
all of JPS to come on district-wide. It's what we refer to as Unified Champion Schools. Schools that agree to be inclusive, to participate in whole school engagement for students with and without intellectual disabilities.
We focus on making sure that students who have disabilities are invited to inclusive events.
So we're very excited to be here, and the children, they're very excited as well.
Go Pro!
So maybe I'll give them some ideas of being active, being out more.
All of that work inside the school has culminated to the end of the school year being an inclusive and unified field day event for about 350 to 400 JPS students.
Here to compete and play in some of the games and festivities and utilize some of the fitness curriculum that we have been learning about and cooperating with each other.
Let me win. But if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
So we have sack races, we have cornhole, we have marshmallow toss, tabletop bowling, lawn bowling, all kinds of activities that they can participate in and just enjoy being outside and working together and feeling like they're a part of the community.
I get to witness a lot of teamwork with my students and honestly just have fun with them. It's a really great experience to be able to witness this and gain a lot more experience, especially with it being my first year of working here at Whitney.
We are so excited to bring Jackson Public Schools on. They have been such a strong partner in regards to Unified Champion School programming. Again, that includes unified fitness within the school day, forming a unified club among students themselves, students with and without intellectual disabilities, and choosing a sport or participating in unified PE.
And that's the mission of Special Olympics, is to make sure that individuals, students and adults with disabilities are included.
We had a child last year. He graduated, and he was in a wheelchair, but he played for the Special Olympic basketball team.
We encourage the students to pick a sport. This year they are looking at unified basketball, unified flag football, and possibly unified cheer, with the goal being to go beyond this field day and then allow the students who participate in these sports activities to participate in our statewide competitions for Special Olympics Mississippi that are held year-round all over the state. While today is recreational, they are allowed the opportunity to participate in competitive sports, which we are very excited about and look forward to them coming on as unified teams.
The love of reading was celebrated at Cardozo Middle School, where JPS hosted its annual reading fair.
We have so many boards on our gym floor and so many books that are being highlighted, and it's just a great day to revel in literacy and how much we love books.
The JPS Reading Fair featured an impressive array of imaginative and visually stunning exhibits.
This is an opportunity for the children to showcase not only their reading ability, but what they love about reading, their favorite stories. They can talk about these stories, and the more that students read, the more that students talk about the stories, the more they grow in vocabulary and literacy.
Exhibits were a creative representation of books that participants read, showcasing their dedication and effort.
I was inspired to do this board because it has a really nice story and it's really heartwarming. It just gives you happiness to just imagine it, and because it's a fantasy world and you get to just create it in your own way. Inspired by stories, scholars crafted displays highlighting the power of imagination and the importance of reading.
Life is one huge giant story that we're always telling from one episode to another, and that's what books do, is they develop those critical thinking skills and those deep reservoirs of imagination.
Exhibits were on display for judges to review.
I think it is outstanding. Our students have presented some outstanding work. It's impressive to see them be able to articulate what they've put on the board, and I'm excited to see as much as I can.
And many participants were honored with awards for their creativity and dedication.
Let's please give it up for
The JPS Reading Fair was a celebration of enthusiastic book readers and their love for literature. You're watching Jackson Public Schools television on Comcast channels 18 and 19 and streaming on our YouTube channel at JPS ITV.
This exhibit is our inaugural, so our first JPS district-wide visual arts exhibit. We're very excited. We have 14 schools and programs participating, 18 visual arts teachers from around the district, and they each brought 10 to 15 of their top student works. We have K through 12 students represented here. We've got 2 elementary schools, 6 middle schools, and 7 high schools.
You can see it on the students' faces when they walk around. I noticed it right away with my students. I don't think they expected to see this much in one place, you know, all the talent and all the student work. Now they see it all culminated into one event, and which is basically what art can do, bring people together socially.
This is so great. It's so great to see like students at JPS being able to have access to these great mediums to express themselves. Is really heartwarming because the students, you know, this generation are part of what's going to lead us, and to be able to have a creative outlet manned by professionals is something that's invaluable to their career.
So you get to look around and see all the different styles. There's so many different styles of artwork here. So when they came in, they were so amazed at everyone's artwork, and they were amazed at the feedback they were getting from their artwork, because they were getting so much positive feedback from their own artwork, and they were very surprised to see that.
Jalen Rose Burrell from Williams
When I was making this piece, my goal was to make sure that everyone knew what was going on in the picture. Like the different logos, I wanted the person that was looking at it to know exactly what I was painting. Like the M&Ms, I needed them to know that the Mentos, Ice Cubes, etc.
Conversations by Jordan Sledge.
It features my mom and my sister sitting down and having a conversation. It's with oil pastel. It took me about a month or a month and a half to finish. Yeah, a lot of stuff about, you know, their daily lives, things that's going on at work, at school, and a lot of stuff like that. A lot of conversations about family and friends.
One district, heading in one direction, marching towards excellence.
We're ready for summer reading.
Let me see you do it, left, do it, right, do it, left, do it, right, do it, left, do it, right, do it.
Start some excitement to get our children ready for summer reading.
Do it, right, do it. Let me see you do it, left, do it, right, do it.
Early literacy, or literacy in general, I focus on getting the kids excited to read, to learn, to be creative, and expand their imagination.
Right, do it, left, do it, right, do it.
Read, read, read.
Left, do it, right, do it, left. Right, let me see you do it.
I plan on the last week of school to have an event in the library where they can come in and pick up their summer reading books, possibly make buttons, and just do different things and activities to get them ready.
Do it, right, do it.
Instead of your brain just sitting idly.
Left, do it, right, do it.
Still working those muscles, your mental muscles.
Let me see you do it. Left, do it, right, do it. Left, do it, right, do it.
It's very effective because I have students that come in and they're excited about what they've read over the summer.
We all know third grade, there's a big exam, there's a lot of reading. You're having to read on your own and comprehend. And so the more you read, the easier it becomes.
They want to discuss their books. They want to have conversations. And then, of course, they look forward to the celebrations that we have when they return because they have done their summer reading.
Do it, left, do it, right, do it, left, do it, right, do it. Let me see you do it.
Read on, Jackson!
Let me see you do it, left, do it, right, do it, left, do it, right, do it, left, do it, right, do it, left, right. Let me see you do it, left, do it right, do it left, do it right, do it left, do it right, do it left.
Welcome to the 2024 Jackson Public Schools Partners in Education Highlight Awards program. Give yourselves a hand, please. We are here today because of you, because of community organizations and churches and civic groups and individuals who understand the value of investing in Jackson, because that's really what community partnerships are. They're investments. They're investments in our children. They're investments in our institutions. They are investments because by example, we say this is how we do life together. Strong roots and changing seasons. And if I've learned nothing else in my almost 19 years of Jackson, is we have some strong roots in Jackson. Things change, right? But as long as the root system continues to be nourished, we can continue to grow. And I'm just excited to do life and JPS with you all. So thank you so very much for being with us this morning. If you don't know, Partners in Education is now community, parent, and family engagement. So this is Ms. Adams. She works with our parent centers. You also see in the program that we're moving to Chastain in July. You have to come and see the parent centers. We have an elementary, middle, and high school parent center that provides resources to JPS families. You got to come and see it if you've not seen it so you can share it. This is Mr. Darwin Robinson. He is our Watchdogs coordinator, dads of great students. Now, can I brag on JPS for a minute? JPS is the only district in the nation to have a full-time person specifically charged with increasing engagement of dads and men of integrity. And then this is Ms. Tanisha Jones, our office manager. So Ms. Jones is the person that you will leave those big checks with today, right? Right? She processes all the money, okay?
Welcome to the Jackson Convention Complex. I am Mickey Ant, a proud 2012 graduate of Lanier High School. Make some noise, Lanier High School. We are so delighted to host the Jackson Public Schools Partners in Education Highlight Awards here today, and we are extremely grateful for your presence. Thank you for choosing our venue, and we hope that you all have a wonderful time. Enjoy the food.
First and foremost, I applaud each of you for being here to celebrate the remarkable partnership between our corporate community and the public school system. This morning, we will recognize and honor the outstanding contributions that our business partners have made to enrich the educational experiences and opportunities for Jackson Public Schools. These collaborations not only help bridge the gap between classroom learning and real-world applications, but they also pave a path to a brighter and innovative future.
I just want to say that a city becomes great when the righteous are a blessing to it. You're here today because you believe this. You know this deep down. You believe deep down that we truly are better together, that we grow together. Let us carry on the work of restoring our city from battleground to playground together.
Let's all congratulate Reverend Van. He is Bailey APAC Magnet School Parent of the Year.
We have a screening tool already in place.
Rockets spread clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through that night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
As the seasons change, so too do the needs of our schools and the ways in which we support them. Each partnership is a branch reaching out and adapting to new challenges and opportunities. And so whether it's a business providing resources, a nonprofit offering membership, or a volunteer dedicating time, Every contribution is a vital part of our growth. The fruits of our labor are evident in the achievement of our scholars who flourish with the encouragement and the resources that we collectively provide.
Our schools are not isolated entities. They are a vital part of the larger community they serve. Similarly, communities thrive when they invest in the education and well-being of their youth. Community partnerships offer invaluable opportunities for students to explore different career paths, fostering a sense of purpose and direction from an early age. By engaging with professionals and industry leaders, students can envision their futures more clearly, setting goals and working towards achieving them. Thank you.
So we are very ingrained in every community within our three-county region, but we've got Jackson in our name, and JPS, Jackson, the city of Jackson, very near and dear to our heart, and it's very important to connect both the business community with the education community. Under the leadership of Dr. Eric Green, we're able to revitalize it, reinvigorate it, and start connecting more of our business partners with scholars from JPS. We're also a college town too, and a lot of those JPS scholars are staying here and they're going to those colleges and universities. One of the things that we have been working hard to do over the last year is start connecting our businesses with younger scholars, exposing them to the business setting. And we are very proud to be just a small part of this and helping bridge that gap between the business community, the scholars, the educators, and to support it. Because without a successful partnership like this, we will not be a successful community, and I refuse to let that happen. Thank you very much.
We have been blessed with the opportunity to represent the entire state of Mississippi on an international stage at the International Thespian Festival. We were able to showcase our students. They were able to participate in workshops, compete for scholarships, and out of all of the performances that went up here, our production of Property Rights by Alan Hannell was the one that was chosen to represent at the international level, where 8 other countries will be flying to meet us in Bloomington, Indiana, where we will get to perform for the world. So we have been sponsored by Pygott Law Firm, and we also have been blessed to have our registration needs met by Jackson's homegrown Angie Thomas, donated $20,000 to help us get our registration covered. We still have $10,000 that we're trying to
make sure I let them know they need to chime into motion since you just
That would be helpful.
Yes.
prepared. Just as FYI, it's just going to be Ms. McGuffey in the building, so if someone
No public comment.
second,
Okay.
please make sure y'all second. So, okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Williams. All right, we're going to go ahead and start. Good evening. The Jackson Public School Board meeting is now called to order. Board members, we have 4 members present, and therefore we have a quorum. In addition to Mr. McGuffey, who joins me here in the boardroom, we also have Dr. Jean Hairston and Ms. Barbara Hilliard on the line. We've all had an opportunity to review the agenda. Board members, I do want to make one amendment to the agenda. We have had a public comment shared with us on one of our policies, so I'm going to request that we amend the agenda to pull item 10B from the consent agenda and move it to the information action agenda. So with that, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. McGuffey. It's by seconded by Dr. Hairston. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. The motion carries. Ms. Williams, we just decided that on the fly. So not on the fly. We had a discussion, a strategic discussion before the meeting to make sure that that is given the appropriate attention that it needs. Board members, we have all had an opportunity to review the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the May 21st, 2024 regular board meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. McGuffey has moved. Dr. Harrison has seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Now on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Green.
Thank you, Dr. Sivak. And we'll begin, as we typically do, with highlights reel from our team. This is effort from many years of high performance, pouring yourselves into your work.
An evening of recognition and awards at the 44th Annual.
This is effort from many years of high performance, pouring yourself. This is effort from many years of high performance, pouring yourselves into your work.
An evening of recognition and awards at the 44th Annual Salute to Scholars.
The fact that you're in here and you got so many supporters around you means that you already have a good start as your support system and get good teammates to hold you accountable.
There was Student-Teacher Achievement Recognition, known as STAR Students.
We are elated to celebrate and honor the JPS ACT 30+ Club members.
Scholars who learned a second language over the school year were recognized for earning a seal of biliteracy.
Class of 2024, you have demonstrated resilience, innovation, and a commitment to progress.
Seniors from 7 JPS high schools gathered at the Mississippi Coliseum for the 2024 JPS graduation ceremonies.
Continue to strive to be the best version of yourself and don't let anything get in your way. Please give a round of applause to your support system, and we wouldn't be here without you.
Scholars were honored with diplomas for academic achievement.
No matter the circumstances or challenges, each one of us laid everyone around us to our best.
We are committed to providing safe, efficient, and sustainable transportation for our scholars on their daily commute to receive a quality education.
Jackson Public Schools takes a leap into the future with the unveiling of new electric school buses.
This directly affects our children. It's something new. They deserve new things, the best things, the most high-quality things that we have in this country, and they are going to get to ride on that every day.
Congressman Benny Thompson and other officials from Washington, D.C. joined Kirksey Middle School scholars for a ride-along, experiencing firsthand the smooth and silent journey of these eco-friendly buses.
Jackson, Mississippi is showing cities and towns all across the country what it means to be competitive and ensure that all of our children have clean air and clean water to drink.
Looking for a job? You're invited to Kirksey Middle School on Thursday, June 13th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. for the JPS Job Fair. Teaching, campus enforcement, child nutrition, transportation, and maintenance. Applicants bring a copy of your resume, and teacher applicants bring a copy of your teaching certificate. Call 601-985-3159 or visit the JPS website. Enroll now in the 2024-25 school year. Early registration supports smooth school operations and ensures ample resources for JPS scholars. All students, new and returning, must enroll through the Power School Enrollment Portal. Accessible 24/7, allows parents to enroll multiple children, and offers language options. SNAP code required for returning students.
Visit our website at jackson.k12.ms.us. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, Comcast, channels 18 and 19, and YouTube at youtube.com/JPSITV.
Thank you, team. I appreciate those highlights and the work that you put into creating that video each board meeting. Also appreciate the work that you've done over the course of the year and certainly since our last meeting in capturing that video. So many amazing, really touching moments with our scholars and their families, and so we just appreciate that. Board members, just want to let you know that going on this week, many of us are a little blurry-eyed because we've been pretty active this week in the National Education Leaders Workshop the 2024 National Education Leaders Workshop, which is a conference that's put on by Insight Education Group, and we were able to convince them to put that conference on here in Jackson so that we could have more of our team members participate. And so it's a packed house with JPS team members learning together, inspiring one another, sessions being led mainly by JPS team members, which is kind of a part of the format that they use. It's not just about bringing in smart people from other places, but identifying smart people here in the district to share their best practices, some of the things that they've learned along the way, some of their tools and resources and all of that. I've had a chance to post up in, I would say 85% of the sessions, and well, not of the sessions, but of the time, because several of the sessions are concurrent. And when I tell you the quality is so high quality, we could put our sessions, this conference, up against any conference that we attend and not see the difference. Such strong sessions, so well facilitated. Our people were so well prepared, and so just made me proud and continue to make us proud. And so just excited that this is happening and that we're having fun together at the same time. So kudos to all of those who have been presenting over the last couple of days. I see several people here in the room who have been presenters and very present and active participants. And so looking forward to concluding that conference tomorrow and morning, and then launching in the afternoon a leadership institute with our extended leadership team, about 30 or so of us. We'll continue on tomorrow afternoon and then full day on Thursday with some retreat activities and focus there. So kudos to the team, and huge thanks to Insight for hosting their conference here and allowing us to highlight so much of the good things that are happening in Jackson Public Schools. I want to talk a little bit about summer feeding first, and then I'll talk a bit about graduation. So JPS is offering summer programming from June the 3rd through June 28th. The JPS A3 camp is free to all K through 12 grade JPS scholars. The morning sessions are academically focused with engaging lessons that are needed for scholars to be successful during the upcoming school year. The afternoon sessions are more focused on enrichment with a combination of offerings which include visual and performing arts, athletics and sports, academic clubs, and some community service. The camp is Monday through Friday, and the times are for elementary scholars from 7:30 until 3, and for our middle school scholars, a sixth grade academy, it's 8 to 3:30. The elementary and middle school sites provide breakfast, lunch, and transportation, and the off-site programs are available for 7th through 12th grade scholars. And program dates and times vary by location, including the TRIO program, the Jackson State University, Hines, and Tougaloo College. And so we've been able to partner with them to offer programming and not try to do all of this on our own, which has been really nice to have some partnership in this work over the summer. JPS Child Nutrition will operate, we've already started to operate our 2024 summer feeding program, providing breakfast, lunch, and lunch meals each weekday from June the 3rd through July the 12th. So even beyond the summer programming that we're offering. And the serving times are 7 to 8:30 a.m. for breakfast and 11 until 1 p.m. For lunch. And those summer feeding sites, you've probably seen these on the news, and we appreciate the media for helping us to get the word out. But the summer feeding sites are at Boyd, McLeod, Key, Bates, Galloway, Clausell, Kirksey, Cardozo, Span, Wilkins, Blackburn, and Provine. and I'll say those again: Boyd, McLeod, Key; Bates, Galloway, and Clausel; Kirksey, Cardozo, Span; and Wilkins, Blackburn, and Provine. So we're excited to be offering those programs and those services to the community, just to help folks remain engaged and to help them remain nourished. I want to spend our last few minutes, or my last few minutes, just gloating a bit and celebrating our amazing scholars and all the hard work that our team has done to prepare our scholars for graduation. So I don't know if you know it or not, but the Jackson Public Schools graduating class of 2024 received in excess of $43.6 million in scholarship offers. That's amazing. We graduated 1,147 scholars from our 7 high schools, including 278 of them who received academic endorsements. And those scholars demonstrated exceptional academic performance by maintaining a 2.5 or higher GPA. They also have successfully completed one of the advanced placement courses and exam, one international baccalaureate course and exam, scored at least a 17 on the English and 19 on the math sections of the ACT, or they've completed a dual credit course. 70 scholars earned the more academically rigorous diploma endorsement, the distinguished academic endorsement. These scholars earned 28 credits, college credits, or no, 28 high school credits. They scored at least an 18 on the ACT English section, scored at least a 22 on the ACT math section. They achieved at least a 3.0 grade point average or higher. They've successfully completed one advanced placement course and AP exam, one international baccalaureate, the IB course and exam, or one dual credit course as well, and they earned at least a B in the advanced course. The students who earn an academic or a distinguished academic diploma endorsement from public high school will be accepted into any of the state's public universities. And so that's one of the reasons why we encourage and support scholars to earn those endorsements. 21 of our scholars have earned the prestigious Career and Technical Education Endorsement, CTE endorsement, this year. This means that each of these graduates earned 26 credits, including 4 credits from the CTE program, but they've also completed a dual credit course in a work-based learning experience or earned a national credit. 4 of our scholars earned the Seal of Biliteracy this year, which is awarded to scholars with proficiency in one or more additional world language, and 12 seniors scored 30 or higher on the ACT. And lastly, 22 of our JPS scholars received their high school diplomas and graduated with their associate's degrees as part of the JPS Tougaloo Early College High School. So let's give them We're excited to share that the class of 2024 had 2 Gates Scholarship recipients in the name of Jerry Palmer and Camila Cousin. Additionally, Keisa Curry Ball, a Forest Hill scholar, is a 2024 Amazon Future Engineer Scholarship recipient. There's only one of 2 awardees, and she's one of only 2 awardees here in Mississippi. Each student, each of those awardees will receive up to $40,000 in paid tuition to attend the college of their choice and a paid internship offer at Amazon, after their freshman year of college to gain hands-on practical work experience with mentorship from Amazon leaders. That's huge. And huge congratulations to those scholars. I couldn't be more proud of our scholars. As you've heard, and I know you all heard at our graduation ceremonies, many of these scholars are reflecting back on their freshman year and even their 8th grade year, which was the spring, excuse me, the spring of their 8th grade year. Is when we had to close down for COVID and the pandemic. And so they started their high school tenure virtually. And many of our scholars have reflected on that time and just the challenges in that. And so just want to really congratulate them for rising above those challenging times, being flexible and working with us and allowing us to work with them to achieve where they are. There are several other scholars who are still working to complete their final credits in order to finish their high school, to graduate from high school. And so we send out positive vibes to them and encouragement to them as they are continuing to work. And we know that they will get there in due time. But just want to, again, congratulate all of these scholars and again all of the educators who have worked so hard. I've talked to a few of our counselors over the last couple of days, and I know they're kind of blurry-eyed because they've been working so hard to close out and just all of the efforts and all of the tasks that are related to graduation closeout. And so again, thank you to all of them, and huge congratulations to all of our 2024 graduates. With that, Dr. Seaback, turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Board members, I'll invite you to share any reactions or comments to Dr. Green's board report.
I will say I was able to attend 5 out of the 7 commencement. We had one board member, Mr. Figures, who's not here with us. He went 7 for 7, so he deserves some recognition for that. But it really was special to see those scholars walk across that stage, the celebratory environment, the number of parents and families and everything that were there, that were present, that were watching over those kids. It was something else. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and to shout out, the high schools. I think it was Linear that said, wanted to trumpet their 88% or something like that. We've made enormous strides and continue to see strides on that front, and it's just it's so special to see those kids graduate. So very cool.
Thank you, Mr. McGuffey. Dr. Green, I also just want to commend you and all the people who do the work to make those ceremonies special. When you would never believe that you could make the Coliseum a place of ceremony, but our team does it year in and year out, and it feels quite good walking down the aisle to get up to the stage like you're important, and obviously every one of our scholars is important. So I just want to not take that for granted, and also just May is a ridiculously busy month for teachers, principals, parents, the administrative team. There are evening events. It's all to celebrate our scholars, and so I just want to thank everyone who was a part of that. Again, none of those things. We do it for our scholars because we love this work. We believe in them, and we want to lift up our people because without them, we're nothing. So, and again, appreciate you centering all the accomplishments. We often hear that we don't do that enough. Well, I think I've seen a lot. especially this month, especially these past couple of weeks. I had the opportunity to represent the board at the announcement of the 25 electric buses. When you've got the administrator of the EPA shouting out Jackson Public School District and Congressman Thompson, really lifting us up as a model for bringing federal dollars in. So I think of all the systems in place, team members that help bring federal dollars and then tracking them and bringing more in, and just the difference that that makes for our scholars. And so we're not done yet. That's just I believe the tip of the iceberg. And so, again, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
All right, board members, we're going to continue with our agenda. We do not have any public comments this evening, but I do want to remind community members who would like to make public comments that they should email their requests to Ms. Rosalind Williams at roswilliams@jackson.k12.ms.us no later than 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or appear in person in the boardroom no later than 5:15 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Next, we will move on to our information-only items. We'll have Mr. Burke lead us off with a review of the updated job description for child nutrition assistant. Mr. Burke.
Good evening.
Good evening.
President Sivak, board members, Superintendent Green, extended JPS family. I have the pleasure. Okay, so here we go. The administration recommends the approval of the updated child nutrition assistant job description, which consolidates the position titles of cashier and cook into a single position, into a single job.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Board members, are there any questions, comments? Thank you.
And there was one question, I think, about...
I did have a question. I'll ask it just so people know it's coming. I just used the opening of child nutrition to ask it. So I know that there has been significant investments made into our cafeterias, using some of our the resources that have come through the child nutrition program. And so I was just inquiring when we may receive an update on our cafeteria renovation work.
We look forward to giving you that update at the August 6th board meeting.
All right, tune in. I've actually heard compliments, not necessarily of the facilities, but of the food, but the two go hand in hand. Good, so.
Compliments about the food?
Yeah, believe it or not, I have
We like
heard
that. We want to hear that.
I have. Let Mr. Rowe know.
There are 2 scholars at my house that have complimented the food. So
We need more of that.
Oh my God, where's Mark Rowe?
Yeah, let him know. We'll tell him again on August 6th. All right, next, I'd like to invite Dr. Bingham Gibbs up. There are a whole range and host of services. This is the time of year where we go through the services that we use to support our students with special needs. So, Dr. Bingham Gibbs, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The first one I have is the Canopy Cares Agreement. The Office of Exceptional Education Services is presenting a review of the renewal agreement between Canopy Cares School and the Jackson Public School District. The Canopy Cares is a private facility that's approved by MDE as an eligible child facility. The purpose of this agreement is to establish working procedures between Jackson Public Schools and Canopy Cares School.
Thank you, Dr. Bingham Gibbs. Board members, are there any questions or comments? Dr. Bingham Gibbs, I'll ask if on each of these, if you could go through them. I often have over the years, not recently, but over the years have had parents who have children who use services, particularly students with special needs, just reach out and share feedback. So I would be curious as you're going through each of these, just to share how any feedback that you're receiving from parents around the quality of the service, and how that type of feedback informs the recommendation to the board to renew, add, continue the services with these partners.
Yes, sir. With Canopy, the parents, we did reach out to the parents of those scholars that are receiving services there, and they said they appreciate the layers of therapeutic wraparound services for the scholar and the family. They appreciate the reduced class sizing as well as the targeted programs that monitor or that provide progress monitoring for their child's behavior progress. They also find the customized programming highly beneficial for the educational benefit.
Great, thank you.
Do you want me to move on?
We can move on.
Okay.
Yes.
The next one that I have is for the Office of Exceptional Education Services is presenting a review of the agreement between Mainstream VI, which stands for Visual Impairment. Jane Hardy is the teacher of the students with visual impairment in the Jackson Public School District. The purpose of this agreement is to establish the working procedures between Jackson Public School District and Mainstream VI in provision of services to children eligible for special education visual impairment services. As well as we reached out to parents and parents of these scholars. They view the quality of these services as good to excellent with no complaints. They are appreciative of the support and education that the children are receiving, as well as in addition to the support and education that the scholars are receiving, the members, as the teachers and the IEP team members, receive support so they can carry out the strategies throughout the school day. As I stated before, improvement in education benefit for the scholars' goals have been noted, and we're seeing that throughout.
Great. Thank you. Board members, any other questions or comments?
One thing I was going to just throw out for my benefit, because it's the first time we've gone through this process. Okay. To the extent you can, and if you don't, I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't think of this until now as I was listening to you. To the extent you can, I would love to know more about where some of the scholars are or what age groups we're talking about. Are we talking about elementary, middle, high school, all the way through, all that sort of stuff? Just to the extent you can when you hit these things, I would be fascinated to know that information.
Okay. And for the first two, and I guess I'll say for all of our programs, it's age 3 through 21. And to reach, they have to be eligible for exceptional ed services. Yep. So at any time, an IEP committee can decide if this child needs this service or that service. So, but I will need more. If you want to know more details, I can give that to you.
Great.
Okay.
Great. We can move on to the renewal review of the agreement between Jackson State University School of Public Health Communicative Disorders Department and JPS.
The Office of Exceptional Education Services is presenting for review the renewal of the collaborative agreement between the Jackson State University School of Public Health Communicative Disorders Department and the Jackson Public School District. This agreement aims to establish and guide a working relationship between JSU and JPS in placing undergraduate and graduate SLP, or speech language pathologists, in the district for externship experiences. We didn't have any this past year. These SLP interns, they work with ages 3 through 21, anyone who's eligible for speech language services.
Thank you, Dr. Bingham-Gibbs. We can move on to Crossroads Day Treatment.
Okay. The Office of Exceptional Education Services is presenting for review of the renewal collaborative agreement with Crossroads Day Treatment Facility to provide an eligible child placement facility for scholars eligible for exceptional education services. This also is a private facility recognized by the Mississippi Department of Education as an approved eligible child placement facility. Scholars served here are referred by the school district for a more restrictive environment. Last year, we did not have any scholars to attend Crossroad. They did not have the day treatment program. They only had residential, and typically we refer for day treatment. So they initiated that program for this school year, so this will be an option if any scholars are ruled eligible for this placement.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay. We can move on to the review of the renewal agreement between Hinds County Human Resource Agency and Jackson Public Schools.
Okay. The Office of Exceptional Education Services is presenting for review the renewal collaborative agreement between Hinds County Human Resource Agency and the Jackson Public School District. The purpose of this interagency agreement is to define the collaboration roles, responsibilities, and transition activities of Hinds County Human Resource Agency, Head Start, and Jackson Public School District by improving the quality of special education services for children ages 3 through 5 that meet the criteria for a IDEA eligibility. Here we provide services for, we have 10 scholars that are receiving, or last year we had 10 scholars that received academic services and 6 scholars that received language speech services. In total, we provided 28 evaluations. So in this process, Head Start makes a child find request to the district, and we provide the evaluation. If they're ruled eligible for services, then we provide the academic services and/or the language speech services.
Great. And what kind of parental feedback have you received on our engagement with this program?
Parents have, it says generally they have provided us with positive feedback regarding the services provided by JPS service providers. However, over the past 2 years, parents have expressed concern about a staffing shortage as far as certified teachers in Hinds County. But when that does occur, we offer those scholars to enroll in our pre-K programs that we offer in the district. So that seems to, it helps the parents or reaches their concerns, basically. We meet their concerns when they can enroll in a JPS pre-K program to receive the services.
So do they unenroll in Head Start and come into one of our pre-K programs?
Yes, sir.
When they do that, is there anything they lose that they would have received by being part of Head Start by being in our program?
No.
So we provide all the same wraparound services that Head Start provides?
We have, yes. They might lose out on just some of the dental, but working with Amanda Thomas in Climate and Wellness, they have those health screeners that they can receive in Head Start as well. But we provide academic services, we provide them with the related services, as well as they get ready to transition to our kindergarten programs that will be in the district as well.
Just as additional supportive comment, we have with the board attorney an arrangement with Hinds County Human Resources to be able to blend enrollment so that a number of students, pending board approval, would be able to share enrollment and continue to receive ancillary and support services and be dually enrolled both in JPS pre-kindergarten classrooms and in a Head Start listing. And so those kinds of arrangements just ensure continuity of any programming supports that they would receive through a Head Start.
Okay. And is that in place currently, or is that something that will be coming to the board?
It will be coming to the board.
Okay. And I also am just thinking, are there any, when we do this, do we put financial pressure on our Head Start partners by effectively taking one of their students, or do we have agreements in place where we're making up? I don't know how the financial arrangement works.
It's a really valid question. So one of the way that we fund our pre-kindergarten through the Collaborative Act, it requires partnership between the local district and the Head Start provider. One of the benefits of that arrangement is that we work to try to ensure that there's equity across programming. So as an example, one of the hallmarks of Head Start are field experiences and field lessons. Well, if we've got a Head Start program located within one of our elementary schools alongside a JPS pre-kindergarten program, and they make a decision to go to the zoo, we want to make certain that all pre-kindergarten students, regardless of their label or their program type, experience the zoo together. And so that kind of shared ownership and pursuit of equity is really important. This particular arrangement with regard to exceptional education services, though, as they have been faced with staffing challenges, one of the genesis for this blended services agreement is the fact that our population is declining, and they also have the ability to reformat their program to focus more on early Head Start. So we have been in conversation with Hinds County Human Resource to propose them taking a more concerted effort to reach 3-year-old children, and for the district to do a more concerted approach to 4-year-olds. And so it's that kind of conversation that the collaboration and the collaborative offers.
Great.
And that's been going on for some couple of years, that development of that relationship.
Yeah, the development of that relationship predates the collaborative. Dr. Merritt helped to facilitate those conversations even prior to the pandemic, and so that set of relationships we were able to jumpstart through the collaborative process because that foundation had been laid through that, and then also engagements with the City of Jackson around an alignment to support preschool and early childhood.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to a review of the renewal agreement between Willowwood Development Center and Jackson Public Schools.
The Office of Exceptional Education Services is submitting for review the renewal collaborative agreement between JPS and Willowwood Development Center in order to facilitate a cooperative working agreement to assist scholars with disability to experience a fluent transition from JPS classrooms at graduation into the Willowwood Developmental Center adult programs.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Bingham-Gibbs. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? The question I wanted to raise up here, so I did just go onto the website of Willowwood just to learn a little bit more about the organization. There were a couple of listings that had been updated since 2019, and so it just raised a question in my mind about capacity, and so wanted to ask, what due diligence we did around Willowwood. I don't think we had any students there last year. And so would something like this raise any concerns around having our children there?
It does not, and I actually reached out to the director, so we're going to set up a meeting to address that, and so I will follow up with a response. But I'm not, because they do have a limit where they'll work with 3 scholars at each school. So I think that they'll be able to handle that number of scholars at each of our high schools.
So do they go out to our schools, or do our students come to their center?
They go out to the high school, and then they work with vocational rehab to provide them the on-site training.
In our schools?
Well, they start in our schools, and then from there, they'll take field trips to vocational rehab, where they have a warehouse, and they work on the different skill sets with the scholar at the vocational rehab center.
Okay, and the vocational rehab center is Willowwood Center?
It's actually vocational rehab, but it falls under them. They work in partnership with them.
Who manages it?
The vocational rehab center.
Is that a state center?
It is a separate entity.
Nonprofit?
They are nonprofit.
Okay. Have you been to the facility?
Not recently, and that was the question. I have not done a site visit this past year. I did not.
Has anyone on our team done a site visit?
Not this past year because we didn't have any scholars there.
Okay. Should we, before we approve this? I guess it's information only. Before we approve this, I would love for you to put eyes on the facilities that our students will be using.
I got you.
Dr. Bingham-Gibbs, is there another entity in this area that does this work?
Not in the same capacity.
Yeah, this was my understanding, that this was the one entity that supports in this area with this kind of work. So not that gives them a pass for anything,
right,
but that just as further context. But we'll be sure to do the follow-up with all the questions that have been asked. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll also follow up because Forest Hill, they typically make a field trip every year to Voc Rehab, but they did not this year. So I'll follow up and I'll work with the teachers as well, and we'll make a site visit.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Dr. Green, your point's noted as well. Okay. We can move on to, that maybe, no.
I have one more.
One more. Oh, the SEAS, Education in the Jackson Public School District.
Right. The Office of Exceptional Education Services is presenting to the board for information a service agreement with Seas Education to provide an educational management software program in the Jackson Public School District. The purpose or the goals of this project is for us to implement a user-friendly educational software program to facilitate efficient creation, monitoring, and updating of individual education plans. It also will help us ensure compliance with regulatory requirements and best practices in education management, improve data accuracy, reporting capabilities, and the decision-making process related to all services.
Great. Any questions, board members, comments?
Is this, my only question was is this a renewal, or is this something new that we're implementing?
We have used this program before, and actually it was used for 504 development,
Okay.
but this year we're adding a module IEP.
Got it.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Banger Gibbs, and thank you for your leadership in this really important area of our work.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to the review of the renewal agreement between Alcorn State University and Jackson Public Schools. Dr. Tommy Knowles, our Director of Recruitment, will present this information.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Green, Board President CVAC, members of the board. The administration is requesting approval of the renewal agreement between Alcorn State University and the Jackson Public School District to continue providing student teaching internship in the Jackson Public School District during the 2024 on through 2027 fall and spring semesters. This agreement is being amended to provide Alcorn State University the opportunity to allow Alcorn State student teachers as well as counseling students the opportunity for hands-on teaching, learning, and practical classroom and virtual classroom experiences with a district teacher. Since entering into the agreement in 2021, the district has provided internship for 3 Alcorn State University students, and of those 3 students we have offered through this partnership, we've retained 2 of the 3 students that have completed internship in Jackson Public Schools. One, Jamal Bolden, who's a physical education teacher at Peoples Middle School, who joined us August of 2022, and Alicia Smith, who is a counselor currently at Lanier High School, who just finished her first year in that position. But she actually joined us in October of 22 as a distance learning facilitator.
Thank you, Dr. Knowles. Board members, any questions or comments? Really good to hear the retention numbers. Thank you for sharing those.
Absolutely.
All right, well, now we'll move on to our staffing update. Dr. Knowles.
Absolutely. So, good evening again, Dr. Green, Board President, board members. We'll get ready to review our staffing report as of today, June 4th, 2024. The numbers that you'll view, though, are from a snapshot that we took of staffing on May the 28th. So we wanted to kind of freeze it so we could make sure that we had all the data available to review and present. Because, of course, you know the numbers are always adjusted. So just to review quickly our current staffing goals, our goal is always to be 100% staff as a district. And so we implement various initiatives, strategies, resources, and other things to make sure that we're doing that work to try to work towards getting the district 100% staff in every area, not just in classrooms, but across the board. We also have a goal to make sure that we have a certified teacher in every JPS classroom by the first day of school, and also to work to establish and maintain initiatives to recruit and retain certified applicants, specifically in our high-need areas of elementary education, mathematics, and special education, which will help us to reach that goal of 100% staffing. So, as it stands today, these are, as it stands as of May 28th, these are our current staffing numbers. Now, as you notice in recent times when I present this, I would typically present it as whole numbers, but we've level set recently to make sure that we present positions based on our full-time equivalents or our FTEs. This is more aligned with how we budget for positions within the district, and so to make sure that the number of positions that we actually have matches the expenditures that we have for staffing, we'll continue to report this this way. We do have a number of employees who occupy a position but that are paid out of different funding sources for that position, or they, like, for example, gifted teachers, they have different locations that they serve, so they may spend a certain amount of time here versus the other location, and so that's how we end up with those decimal points. One thing I did want to make sure that I highlight on this slide is that last year, around May 23rd, we reported a full staffing percentage of about 82.3%, which puts us about 5% lower this year where we were that year than last year. But last year we were reporting the staffing based on the number of people. And so we realized that in the calculation based on FTEs that sometimes people may be counted twice if they occupied more than one FTE, which is how we ended up level setting to report it this way. Okay. All right. So we extrapolated out of that number, the number of positions, we'd like to focus on our teachers and our teacher assistants. So out of, go back for a second. So we have a total of 3,412.5 total positions. So that includes our classified, certified, as well as administrative staff. And then, of course, that administrative column includes anybody that's paid on the administrator salary scale. So that would include executive assistants up to building level leaders, as well as district level leaders that are included in that number. The only positions that are not included in that admin number will be the board member positions. So everybody else is counted. So from that 3,412 number, of that number, 1,486.3 of those positions belong to just teachers. So these are teachers of record in classrooms providing direct instruction to students. It does not include librarians, counselors, or other certified personnel, just our classroom teachers. So of that number, as of May 28th, we have 372.6 vacancies. We've currently filled 972, which puts us at a staffing percentage in May of 65.4%. And then for our teacher assistants, 275 positions, 204 have been filled, which gives us a percentage of 74.2%. So when we break out that number even further, the 372.6 of our teacher vacancies, we break them down, 66.2% of those numbers are represented by these high areas of need. So of course, the highest is always elementary education. And a lot of that is due to the requirements that are needed in order for people to get the elementary education certifications. And these are the vacant positions. So right now, 124 is what we carry compared to 82 that we reported in July of last year. So with a caveat, we are reporting a little earlier this year than we did last year based on when we provided the staffing update. So of course the numbers are larger as we continue to recruit, work with teachers to work on things like certification, getting licenses renewed. Then we do expect these numbers to come down within a short amount of time. Pre-K will be 14 compared to 17 in July of last year. We have 15 mathematics vacancies compared to 21 in July of last year. Special education, and this number includes our gifted positions, we've actually increased to 60.6%, where we were at 34 in July of last year. And then science, 31, and this year, which we didn't include, I'm adding the number for English as a second language to highlight that as a critical need to make sure that we are addressing staffing individuals with certifications to address that, our English as a second language population. Right? So every year I always add to this particular table to report the positions not filled to give us a feel of where we are as it relates to all certified staff. So this number total is a little different because this number does include teachers, counselors, librarians, certified interventionists, plus teachers. Anybody that requires a certification to teach, we track that certified staffing number. So typically in mid-July, we hover around 83.2%. The only anomaly to this was, of course, in the summer of 2021 due to the automatic extensions that our teachers received for MBE, which allowed us to retain a larger number a lot faster. So here we are in May 2024 at about 72.1%. And so our goal is to, by this time this summer, by the mid-July, to be at 83.2 or better as it relates to our staffing percentage. And just as a point of reference, when we started the school year this year, August 7, 2023, we started with a certified staffing percentage of 88.1. So we hope to either be here, we actually hope to be better, way better than that. So we're still working on some things to make that happen. So what are we doing to close the gap? So I actually have some updated numbers that I'll provide you. So I checked today, I had my team to check today while we were at the conference. And so this number of actual expired licenses, we started with 337. We are currently at a remaining number of 172 educators that still need to have their licenses renewed. So we have a total of 165 that have been renewed as of today, June 4th. And so when those teachers get those licenses renewed, we make sure that we contact the principals. Principals request contracts for them, receive approval from their assistant superintendents, and then we send those contracts to get them signed up for 24-25. This number does include the 337, which is the original number, does include the number of district requested licenses that we request too. So your special non-renewable licenses as well as your emergency certificates. So those are also included in the 165 that has been renewed. The 172 that's remaining, we do have an opportunity to still retain them. So if they don't obtain the CEUs that they need to renew their licenses by the end of June, the educators can request a one-year reinstatement, which MDE will issue automatically. This gives them an additional year to complete the professional development requirements that they need, but we're able to offer them a contract once that one-year reinstatement license is issued. And as we mentioned district requested licenses earlier, we've submitted 123 requests since March 1st of this year. When I first got in this position, we were requesting north of 400 requests every year to try to staff. So we've greatly reduced that number due to some of the triage we've done around providing information about certification and a lot of the supports that we offer as far as like our practice prep, our partnerships with colleges and universities for alternate route certification, which have helped us to lower that number. But we still have a few that are in need of provisional certification. So we've had 81 requests approved of the 123. All of those teachers have received contracts and are signed up for 24-25. We have 42 currently that are pending review, and the breakdown is here as follows. So of this large number, we've only come in contact with 9 educators that are not currently eligible for a district requested license. But if they've used up all of their eligibility, then they would have to complete an educator preparation program to receive their initial license from the State Department. But then there are a few that are just waiting on proof of progress. So each year, before an educator can receive a new provisional certification, they have to make attempts towards certification that can be verified or validated by the State Department. So many of them that involves taking a certification exam, and we have to wait for those scores, those official scores, to make it to the State Department before they'll issue the license. So we also are continuing our Grow Your Own initiatives. So we had just this past May, 12 new residents that graduated from our partnership with the Mississippi Teacher Residency Program at Jackson State University. So many of them have graduated, they have degrees, they may still have 1 or 2 requirements for testing, so they're awaiting certification, but all of them either have a requested license from the district or they've already obtained placement to come back and make sure that they're teaching with Jackson Public Schools. And as a requirement of this program, they're required to give us 3 years of service after completing the residency. We also have our in-district residency program, Teach JPS, and so we're currently working to renew our partnership with William Carey University. Once we get that agreement kind of finalized, it'll be coming to the board for review and then eventually approval, so that we can begin to recruit for 8 slots that we have available that we're working with our Office of School Support to fund. And so this program again takes paraprofessionals like teacher assistants, helps them complete either their degrees in elementary education or child development, which is for pre-K, and then once they finish, they will remain in the district to teach in those spaces for at least 3 years. We still do have our university and organization partnerships. So Teach for America has provided us with 10 candidates that we're currently working to place in the areas of elementary education, biology, mathematics, and social studies. And then we also have 4 candidates that are seeking placement from the Mississippi Teacher Corps, 3 in ELA and 1 in social studies. And then we're also we have a partnership with TFA for this summer, where they'll be doing training for at least 25 Teach for America candidates through our summer school programs at Blackburn. And so there's opportunity for us to engage with those teachers that are training or completing their pre-work training this summer to maybe even pick up a few more candidates based on our needs for staffing. And then, of course, probably the largest undertaking is always our international teacher recruitment. And so each division has identified positions and needs that they would like to have addressed by staffing of international teachers. So currently we have 61 positions that have been identified, 36 at the high school division, 11 at middle school, and then this year we've expanded even to elementary. I think we recruited one last year to teach at Shirley Elementary. And so based on the success of us at the elementary school level, many of the schools and assistant superintendents have requested that we open it up to recruit more. And so here on the in the table, you can see the breakdown for the actual number of positions that we're looking to fill with those international teachers. So another project, of course, as it was reported in the superintendent's report, we are hosting a district-wide job fair. This time it'll be an evening job fair from 4:30 to 6:30 at Kirksey Middle School. And so we're completing registration from all of our departments as well as schools to get those that have vacancy needs to come out. And we're working with our public engagement department to establish more communication opportunities to make sure that we advertise adequately to see if we can get a good turnout and get some more people to come and try to fill positions. So, and then we are also still offering our recruitment incentives, $5,000 in critical need areas. So special education is the highlight in that particular piece because it's one of our main needs. For our hard to staff areas, we offer $7,500 for pre-K, elementary ed, and math. And then we still offer the $10,000 bonus for our CTE areas. And again, even though we call it a recruitment incentive, it does have that retention piece built in. These incentives are divided up into 6 disbursements over 3 years for candidates that accept positions in qualifying areas in Jackson Public Schools. Any questions?
Board members, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I've got just a couple. The first one I have is a.
Excuse me, Mr. McGuffey. Just one point of clarification. Our board attorney is flagged. We do not offer bonuses in Jackson Public Schools, and so they are incentives that we use.
Oh, I didn't change the language on the slide. My apologies. Yeah,
we will never use it again.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about it.
We'll fix it. We will never use that again.
Communications to the public say incentive.
Just
so,
incentive.
We removed it. It's just this slide. So
yeah, thank you.
My apologies,
Mr. McGuffey.
Great catch. So my first question is really around the number of teachers where we're still working on license renewals. Can you tell me what kind of carrot or stick is in place, could be in place to encourage people to do that earlier so that we're not, twisting ourselves into knots trying to do it. And I know this was a thing in late July and August and even into the school year. And so I'm just wondering, what do we have other than the power of the purse over the human that we could push them along in that direction?
Talk about what we do.
Right. So some of the things that we employ to make sure we run a report at the beginning of every year, early in the year, between October and November, where we notify our teachers that, hey, you are in the last year of your valid license. This license is going to expire on June 30th of the year. These are the requirements that you have to renew. So if you're an administrator, if you need OSLs or semis, we notify them that that's what you need, how many you need based on your license level. If it's just a general teaching license, then they need CEUs. Bachelor's level, they need 6 college coursework hours or 10 CEUs. Master's or above, or AA license or above, they need either 3 college coursework hours, 5 CEUs. And then we provide them with a menu of CEU opportunities that they can obtain or participate in order to get the CEUs they need to renew. We also hold licensure guidelines sessions where we invite teachers to come out so that they can ask questions, so they can be taught about licensure to understand what the requirement is. And during all of those, we inform them that without a valid license in the spring, we typically offer contracts at the beginning of March. Without a valid license, we're unable to offer a contract. So if there is a dangling carrot at any point, it would more so be that there's no way for us as a district legally to retain you if you don't have a valid license at the time that contracts are issued. We do this once in the fall, the licensure guidelines piece. We do it again in the spring, in February. Provide updated opportunities. Many of the professional developments that we offer in the district do qualify for CEUs. So the only thing that they have to do, there's a fee cost that they have to pay to the CEU granting institution. A lot of times it will be Hines Community College or Jackson State University or even Mississippi College, depending on who we partner with to provide those. So they're available. There's no workaround procrastination, so to speak. So to get somebody to actually do it beforehand, they have a 5-year window to complete the CEU. So if they're attending the professional development that we offer in the district, they more than likely have the CEU credits. They just have to fill out the forms and pay for them so that they can submit the renewal application online.
I appreciate that. It's just one of those things like I have to get renewed every 2 years, for my bar license in one jurisdiction that I'm in, and inevitably, I suspect your teachers are like, "Is it year 5?" And I think they're probably dealing with it because I do the same thing. So I appreciate the effort to kind of like continually paying people. It's immensely helpful, and hopefully people will continue to respond in larger numbers. The second question I had is related. I know we have this option of the 1-year renewals. Mm-hmm. Are those available year on year, or is it like you shoot your shot and then you got to get renewed the next year, or else?
You're referring to the district requested licenses or the 1-year reinstatement?
The 1-year reinstatement.
Yeah. So they're offered to an educator at the end of a standard license expiring.
Yep.
So, for example, let's say my license expires. It expires June 30th.
Yep.
July 1, I can fill out an application with the State Department to request an additional year to get the CEUs I need to renew. Once I renew, they add the additional 4 onto the 1 year that they've already given me, and then I'm good for another 5 with the same process.
Yeah.
So making sure that I'm still earning CEUs during that renewal period. But if I get to the end of another 5 years and my license expires, then I have to request another 1 year. So it's kind of like, we'll give you 1 year to get the CEUs, but if you don't get the CEUs at the end of the 1 year, then MDE won't issue the license.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't string them together, I guess is my point.
No, you have to earn the CEUs and earn the renewal before you can qualify for another reinstatement.
There were questions that I'm hoping we kind of talked through, so that were presented, so I'm going to pass it off.
Actually, a lot of the questions that I asked, I felt were addressed in the course of the conversation. So just again, for the public's benefit, some of the questions were, what are we doing to reduce the shortage? I felt like, again, that was the, closing slides of the presentation. One question I think that I asked, which is more of just how we calculate the number, what effect will the school closures have on, this overall body of work?
Well, we're hoping, because we're still working together with our finance team, the business office, Dr. Burke and his team, to reduce the denominator. Mm-hmm. So as the number of positions decline as we close, we take into account the number of teachers at those closing institutions that did sign a contract to return. All of those individuals have been placed and are set and ready to go for 24, 25. So right now at this time, we're purely looking at positions that we need to fill for the upcoming school year. There still may be opportunity to reduce the number even further, or when I say reduce the denominator, close the number of positions that we're actually attempting to fill. as we continue to work through budgeting, staffing, where the positions really are these positions true positions, or are they just positions that we traditionally carry throughout the school year based on student numbers and enrollment. And so there's constant conversation going on between myself, the extended leadership team. We do our check-ins at Opening with Excellence every month to have that conversation to see where we are. And I do know, and I can say, this is just excitement that as we kind of build the new ERP system as well and get that established, that's going to immensely help us with our tracking as it relates to who's moving where, what positions are eligible to close, as we compare that to our student enrollment numbers to determine what our staffing needs are. So right now, tracking it by hand, you got a lot of different moving pieces, and it just takes us longer to be able to truly assess what our staffing needs are. But as we continue to move through the summer, we fill positions, reanalyze, and then if there's opportunities to reduce that denominator, then that's going to help improve our staffing and percentages as well.
So the numbers that you reported for vacancies, that's based on the, that's based on the projected footprint for our school district next year?
Correct. So this is for the upcoming year, 24-25.
So,
my apologies. I see I got a typo there. But yes, this is the projected for next year.
So when we think about percentages, then we're eliminating, based on the budget hearing that we had before this meeting, we're eliminating, well over 100 certified positions, but the percentages of our that are on our we're projecting to be the same. Is that just because?
Right. Well, some of it is that, again, we're earlier in the year.
We are.
Than we traditionally report.
Admittedly.
But a lot of it is, for me,
right there, that one. If you go back to that one right there.
Right. And so it's not really apples to apples.
Right.
Because here in these, we were reporting number of people. Versus this year now, we're reporting the actual number of positions or making that very honest attempt to make sure that we're reporting positions. Plus, we're almost 2 months ahead of where we normally are.
The 2 months ahead is that point makes a lot of sense. I guess where I was going was, and you can't do it with these data because these data aren't, they're just not, it's not a, yeah. I guess it would be helpful to know what the apples to apples are. And if we can't pull that, I understand it.
Right.
We shouldn't even throw this up there because what it looks like is, we're targeting 88%, by August. But we had, 87% in 2022, 83%, it's better than 20. You can't, to me, if we eliminate a significant number of positions, it should be like 95%. Tell me if I'm missing something or oversimplifying it.
Because that's what I was saying earlier about reducing the denominator. So if you reduce the number of staffing positions, that should drive the percentage up. What I think is kind of pulling it down, though, is that we still have a higher number of vacancies compared to the number of positions that we're reducing. So we really won't be able to really, in my opinion now, I don't think we'll be able to see the greater impact until we get more of those positions filled. And then if there's opportunity to close more positions, then make sure that we do so. So I think in July, when we come back, or if we come back and look at it again at that time, it'll be a better reflection of how us closing the schools and reducing those numbers are having an impact on how we're able to reach that staffing goal that we've set for ourselves.
No, that would be helpful. And to be clear, I have a lot of appreciation. The things that you've done to go find teachers all over the world, frankly, to meet the needs of our scholars. I think you were probably talking about them at the conference in terms of it best in class. And so I want to acknowledge that. And then also a lot of what's behind my question is just trying to understand the numbers as well. And so thank you.
No, absolutely.
for the work that you do in this space. Board members, any other questions or comments? Great. All right. Thank you, Dr. Knowles. And I believe you're going to give us something to approve to support this work. All right. Dr. Knowles will and real quick, before we go on this, I don't know if it's going to be Dr. Cormack or Attorney Harris who will present the policy comment, but we'll take that at the end of the section, so just so y'all can prep. Before us board members, we have the request to approve the engagement between the law office of Ann Newen and the Jackson Public School District. Dr. Knowles, our Director of Recruitment, will present this request.
All right. Good evening again, Dr. Green, Board President, CVAC, and members of the board. The administration is requesting approval of the engagement between the law office of Ann T. Nguyen and the Jackson Public School District for the filing of new H-1B visa petitions for up to 60 new international T candidates for the district at the elementary, middle, and high school level. This is a renewal agreement based on previous satisfactory representation by Attorney Nguyen and her firm. Over the lifetime of our engagement, Attorney Nguyen, when counting both new petitions and renewal petitions, has successfully procured 59 H-1B visas for the district. So that includes recent visa renewals for teachers from last year, the original 9 that we initially secured, and the 43 that we secured last school year.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Knowles. Board members, any questions?
I had just a question I wanted to follow up on, something I sent over kind of last minute. And in the information that was presented to us, there is both an engagement letter from her office and an executive summary that on JPS letterhead, and that JPS document and the engagement letter both include some budgetary information on sort of unit costs or set fees. However, there's also a not to exceed cap in our document that I don't see reflected in her engagement letter. So I don't know if this is really a question so much as a flagging for everybody that we may want to get that rolled into her engagement letter in some form or fashion as well, unless there's an understanding that our executive summary is sort of an appendix to her engagement letter. Does that make sense? Does that comment make sense?
It makes sense, but that's not the way I'm
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's a way to address
point,
that.
But yeah, it's not addressed in her engagement letter, so I don't know if Dr. Knowles has had that conversation with her. I don't have a problem adding it.
Well, yeah, the not to exceed piece is on our end. So there's a budget cap that I've been given to make sure that I don't exceed in doing this work. So right now we are comfortably below that mark, but if additional needs are identified, there's wiggle room there to be able to provide that support to acquire those teachers if we need it, but we won't go past that cap. Yep.
So I would, my own thought, just for everybody's benefit, then I don't see that as a reason, especially given, if I understood this correctly, she has never in prior years billed us on the hourly rate, essentially.
Oh, no. So she's always billed us on it's a set amount for the filing. And so there's anything that's classified in the document as legal fees, that's her fee for the filing of the document. And then, of course, there are also the filing fees that go to USCIS that have to accompany the forms in order for them to be properly filed and submitted. So, but there's never been a situation since I've been engaged with her where she's added a fee here or a fee there for anything additional. It's always been, this is what the amount will be, this is what we agreed to up front, and so that's what we pay.
So personally, I don't see this as a reason to delay any sort of approval or anything like that. She's doing immensely important work for the district and has been incredibly successful at it, and the H-1B process is really complicated. I will just note that she does have this carve out that says, hey, in extraordinary circumstances, I can bill at this hourly rate. And we've got what looks like about $60,000 kind of built between where we're estimating, based off her flat fees and our internal not to exceed. That's something we may want to take up with her moving forward. It's a really common thing for lawyers to include in engagement letters. So I would say if we do this again, and I suspect we're going to want to because this recruitment effort has been immensely successful, let's put a pin in that. Maybe circle back with her on that question for future years. That's my take on it.
Thank you, Mr. McGuffey. Do we need any response on that, Attorney Turner? Or
No, I was just saying, we can raise that, but I think given the nature of her services being based on flat fees and expenses, I think I would understand as an attorney if I say, if this is what the fee is to USCIS, if this is my fee to charge you to process that, I think it's going to be more on us to self-police as opposed to, she can come to us and say, okay, I'm in the midst of this petition. You've hit your $500,000 cap. I'm going to stop working on it. And then that person's in flux. I think it's going to be more on us to police that, or we're going to create an unworkable situation if we've got this candidate that's in the middle and we hit our cap. I think at that point, it's going to probably be incumbent upon administration to come back to the board and say, okay, we need to. I just think because it's not an hourly rate.
Well, to be clear, it's a hybrid. Her engagement letter is a hybrid. So she includes both flat fees, and then there's a carve out that says our fee for such additional service will be based on either the firm's applicable fixed fee for the service or for non-fixed fee matters on an applicable hourly rate, and includes an hourly rate. And so that's really what I'm talking about is the extraordinary circumstance. I'm going to say what she says. She notes that if the Trump administration comes back into office, that could create additional barriers. We just need to be mindful of that fact that we could have additional work outside of the flat fee model that we're used to and that we expect, and then we're on an hourly billable model for additional work. So again, I don't think that's something that we should be delaying approval of this for this year, but moving forward, that is something that we may need to be mindful of where we're in this hybrid place of flat fee with the possibility of hourly work, because obviously attorneys discount their rates all the time.
Yeah, it's an open checkbook.
Discount their rates all the time. So it may be a situation in which we could put in hey, don't go over this number, and if you do, you got to give us a heads up in advance, and so on. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can put in for protections on our end.
Understood.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Guffey, I heard you say that you are not recommending that we delay it. So, in light of that, is there a motion to approve this item?
A motion to approve our engagement.
Thank you. Is there a second? Dr. Hairston, Ms. Hilliard, are y'all still with us?
Second.
As Ms. Hilliard. Okay. Mr. McGuffey has moved. Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that was Dr. Harrison. So just affirming we still have a quorum.
I was with you. It took me a minute to get the mute button.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Dr. Hairston. Thank you, Ms. Hilliard. Next, we'll move on to request to approve the agreement between West Ed and Jackson Public School District for NBA Math Hoop Summer School. Samicia Stokes, Dr. Stokes, our Executive Director of the Office of Innovative Strategy, will present this information. Dr. Stokes.
To President Sivak, Superintendent Green, board members, and JPS family, good evening. The administration is delighted to announce our partnership with NBA Math Hoops and West Ed for the proposed study of the NBA Math Hoops this summer in Jackson Public Schools. This collaboration holds the potential to bring about significant positive changes in our students' learning experiences. West Ed's purpose is to conduct a study to assess the implementation and impact of the NBA Math Hoops program in grades 4 through 6 during the summer camp, which is a venture that we believe will greatly benefit our JPS families. To this end, we recommend the approval of the agreement with West Ed, and we look forward to the partnership.
Thank you, Dr. Stokes.
Thank
Board
you.
members, any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
So moved.
Oh, second.
All right, Dr. Hairston has moved, Mr. McGuffey has seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Stokes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Idea, wonderful idea.
Next, we have the request to approve, and we'll invite Mr. Burke up. And actually, Mr. Burke has items C through G. Oh, Ms. Purnell is going to present this.
First.
Okay. Thank you for that. Ms. Purnell, thank you. Our Executive Director of Business Services will present the request to approve the award of bank depository services. Ms. Purnell.
Good evening. To Dr.
Good evening.
Sivak, board members, Dr. Green, the administration, and of course all our JPS family. On behalf of the Office of Finance and Operations, the Business Services Division, the administration recommends that Trustmark National Bank serves as the bank depository for 1 year, covering July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025. The rationale, the Mississippi Code sections 27-105-353 and 27-105-305 require that school boards advertise and accept bids for depositories no less than 1 year every 3 years, once every 3 years, to allow funds to be placed on deposits with their institutions. Board members, as you may already know, Trustmark National Bank is our current depository, and that agreement expires as of June 30th, 2024. So the district did seek requests for proposals from different financial institutions during a 6-week period that we asked for those requests, the proposals to come in. We did receive at least 4 of those, even though we had 3 from major ones that we really considered, because we only had 1 that had 1 location, so that one was really one that we actually considered. But there were 3 that we did consider. We did evaluate based on different factors, which included the location, the fees charged, service scope, and interest rate to maximize the interest earnings. Trustmark offered the highest fixed yield there, which was option 1, 5% for 1 year commitment. Option 2 was 4% with and 2 year commitment on for 2 year commitment, and option 3, 3.25 for a 3 year commitment. So the district is recommending for a 1 year with the 5% yield for this 1 year. Next year we come back, we'll see if 3 years will benefit for us to take it over a 3 year period, depending on where the market goes. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Purnell. Board members, any questions? Ms. Purnell, I guess the only question I would have is, so you mentioned the interest rate, and it was clear from our board materials that Trustmark was clearly offering the highest interest rate. On balance, did they also offer the lowest fees?
They did. They when we look at the overall fees that they do request and they put in there, it's going to be less than the rest of the banks that they have when we actually mold them together to see, and with the yielding that they do receive.
Okay, great. So they're paying us the most and charging us the least. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Board members, is there a motion to approve the request?
Motion.
Mr. McGuffey has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Next, thank you, Mrs. Purnell. And I apologize for missing you earlier. Next, we'll invite Mr. Burke up. Mr. Burke, if you could present items D through G, and we'll take those all up as a slate.
Yes, sir. Just I want to digress one back to Ms. Purnell's presentation. There was one question about positive pay.
It was that was just I did ask it, partially that question was because I didn't know what it was.
Right. It's a relevant question. We do have a lot of fraud attempts on our account. Positive pay will assist in that. It's where we submit a file of the checks we issue, along with the recipient, the amount, and the check number. And the bank will verify it, so they'll have that information. They don't currently have that right now. So people are copying, with the state of technology now, they can copy checks that look really realistic, and we're constantly battling and answering questions about checks. So I wanted to point that out to you.
No, thank you. And that was associated with my question about the fees as well, so it was encompassing. But thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Additional service.
Yeah, it's additional service that we had not been taking advantage of before.
Good deal. All right, so next we'll ask Mr. Burke to request the approval of the 16-section lease agreement and addendum with JPS, and who is the lessor, and Mike Whitty as the lessee. Mr. Burke.
Yes, the administration recommends the approval of the lease agreement between Jackson Public School District and Mike Whitty, located at 486 Julian Street, Jackson, Mississippi, identified as tax parcels 174-4-2 and 174-13-1. This was the previous location occupied by Ace Bolt and Screw, which was canceled, and he is wishing to take over this property. The lease will be 5 years. It will undergo reappraisal every 5 years, and the lease amount that will be charged will be $11,200.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. And what type of business does Mr. Whitty operate?
It is a industrial supply warehouse. He will specialize in selling industrial equipment and supplies that range from hand and power tools, pipes, hoses, tubes, fittings, and cater to various industrial and construction needs in our community and the surrounding area.
Great, thank you. Board members, any other questions? Thank you. I guess, anyways, we'll move on to item F. The request to approve award request for proposal RFP 2024-12 to Business and Office Connections for the removal, relocation, and storage project. Mr. Burke.
Yes, sir. The administration recommends the approval of RFP 2024-12, which is award to Special Teams Moving and Delivery for the removal, relocation, and storage project. This is the assets and property team lacks the internal capacity to shutter and relocate our multiple schools and office buildings that were approved for closure in an effective and efficient manner. So we've chosen to solicit the assistance of outside partners. This will greatly speed up our ability to secure those facilities. And those facilities will, the facilities are listed, but I will quickly read them, and then I won't read them for the next two items. Chastain, Dawson, French, Isabel, Johnson, Lake, Lester, Marshall, Morrison, and Poindexter, Rains, Shirley, Smith, Sykes, Witten, and Wingfield High Schools. The seamless transition ensures uninterrupted delivery of education services and enhances our logistical support for staff and scholars during the move.
And Dr. Sebeck, that was item E.
That was item E. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's on me.
I skip one?
Yeah, so we'll come back. So, so we can just run through. So that one
that was item, that's special teams. That is item.
What's E?
E.
So please say it right. He just
If you could present, yeah, and so if you could also just present on the remaining relocation.
Yes, sir. I just want to make sure I'm on the right item.
Yeah.
Okay. So item F.
Yep.
Yes, sir. The administration recommends the approval of RFP 2024-12 award to Business and Office Connections for the removal and relocation of the storage project. Same justification as the prior item. And then the final recommendation, the administration recommends the approval of RFP 2024-12 award to the Quality Group of Jackson for the same removal, relocation, and storage project.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Yes,
Board
sir.
members, any questions on these? I did not see a bid tab on those, and we may not have needed them, but my question was largely around, are any of these contracts to vendors that are minority or women-owned?
Yes, 3 of our responding, so there were 4 responders. 3 of the 4 are headed by, 2 are owned by minorities, and 1 is headed by a minority who will be assigned to us. The first is, I'm sorry, I've looked at this so many times, I should know it. Business and Office Connections is female minority owned. Quality, it's not Quality, it's the first one. Special Teams is minority owned. The other is a majority owned, but will be managed by minority.
Okay.
This project will be managed by minority.
Okay, thank you for those clarifications. So board members, any other questions, comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the slate of recommendations?
Motion.
Is there a second? Dr. Harrison or Ms. Hilliard, is there a second? That's Dr. Harrison. Mr. McGuffey has moved. Dr. Harrison seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Burke.
You're welcome. I will take this moment. The vendors, responding vendors, did want to thank the board for their putting this out for partners. They're very eager to get started on this project and very excited to.
Great. Well, thank you. We look forward to good work. Okay, next we'll have Attorney Harris will present the recommendation to approve policy GBFA, suicide prevention. Attorney Harris.
Good evening, Board President Dr. Seaback, board members, Superintendent Dr. Green, JPS Community. The Office of the General Counsel is presenting, the Office of the General Counsel is requesting that the board approve the creation of procedures GBFA, suicide prevention, to accompany our current policy that we have. We received 1 public comment regarding the revision, regarding the creation of their procedures to our document, and the commenter offered a screener tool for consideration by the administration that has been shared with the board.
Thank you, Attorney Harris. Board members, any questions? Attorney Harris, you mentioned a screener tool that was shared with the board. I did receive it via email. How does do we have an existing tool, and how does the tool that was shared in public comment, are there any differences between those instruments?
I'm going to invite Dr. Cormack to respond to that question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the team does have a screening tool that we utilize. They do align with the screening tool that was offered as part of public comment.
Great. And so you don't see any marked differences between the tool that we use and the tool that was offered in public comment?
I do not. However, we've advised not to publish the tool alongside the procedures, maintaining that internal confidentiality, specifically for students that express suicidal ideation. It may not be advisable to make the tool as publicly accessible should they rehearse or coach themselves around the particular tool. We want to make certain that that is something that is provided in confidence, and that those questions are answered in full faith and can be adjudicated by a professional.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So I trust you, as the educator and the experts, I trust you on this. The main thing, I guess the main question is, just want to make sure it was received, reviewed, contemplated, our procedures were looked at, and again, as the expert, you feel strongly that we're in a good place with the tool we have.
I do believe that we're in a good place with the tool that we have. I think the enhancement to our procedures and making them publicly accessible, and then also continuing to train our internal team around what to do when students express suicidal ideations, but then also maintaining a select group of folks who have been trained professionally to deliver the screener tool, I think is very important, and also making that more widely accessible for parents and families to be able to access those resources.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Cormier. Board members, any other additional questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve policy or procedures surrounding GBFA suicide prevention?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. McGuffey has moved. Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Cormack, and thank you, Attorney Harris, for bringing that information before the board. And thank you to the policy committee, chaired by Dr. Hairston, for working through that item. Next, we have the consent agenda items, finance. All the consent agenda items for finance have been reviewed by the board previously and have had an opportunity to ask the administration questions. Are there any further questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McGuffey has moved. Is that Ms. Hilliard has seconded it? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the consent agenda item general. The board has previously reviewed all the consent agenda items and we've had an opportunity to ask the administration questions. Are there any further questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda general?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. McGuffey has moved. Dr. Harrison has seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Next, we have the consent agenda item personnel. All the consent agenda items personnel have been reviewed by the board previously and have had an opportunity to ask the administration questions. Are there any further questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda personnel?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. McGuffey has moved. Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. I believe we do have a consideration for executive session.
No.
We do not. Okay, board members. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Ms. Hilliard?
We can't leave until
Yeah.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Guffey has moved. Dr. Harrison has seconded. All in favor? Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Not only are you guys an amazing group of students who represent this district extremely well, but we as the adults who are also responsible for your learning in some way, we are extremely proud of you and each and every move that you've made by your own intention to make sure that you are absolutely successful at doing the very thing that you love to do to get what you guys get where you guys plan to go.
The Forest Hill APAC dancers provided entertainment with contemporary dance. Then came special recognition of new inductees into the JPS ACT 30 Plus Club by Mrs. Lakeisha Marshall Thomas.
To all the students who've reached this impressive milestone, I extend my heart